Welcome to Sports Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome to Sports Talk with the Cowboy, and it is Christmas Eve, so happy holidays and Merry Christmas. We're going to go to the New Orleans Saints Tampa Bay Buccaneer game that was played Sunday night in Raymond James Stadium against the New Orleans Saints, and they beat us 9-0, as you know. It was a devastating defeat for the Buccaneers, our home team, but we suffered it on national television. It was a terrible game. We lost 9-0. As you know, we lost plenty of players. We lost Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, at least to the playoffs, our running back, and of course, Chris Godwin. We thought his leg was broken, but he's out for the year. He will not be coming back as we make the Super Bowl tri-peat and try to win again. He's not coming back this year. So we've lost the game, and we had a devastating loss. We lost our two top receivers and our top running back in the process of losing 9-0, which we have never, under the Tom Brady watching quarterback, lost a game being shut out. So it was a terrible game for us. Our offensive line did not seem to be able to stop their pass rush. Their pass rush was absolutely marvelous. It pushed against our right tackle, Tristan Wirfs, and just beat our inside with Cap and Marpet up at the guard position all night long. They stopped the run. They pushed the pocket back into Tom Brady. He looked up, and first of all, he seen Chris Godwin, his go-to receiver, down almost with a broken leg and out for the rest of the year. Within 4 sets of plays, his leading running back, Leonard Fournette, was hobbling to the sidelines, which is not a good sign. And then within another 4 or 5 minutes, Mike Evans, his other wide receiver star, is out on the sidelines. He has backup receivers. He has Darden. He has Scotty Miller. And he has Gronk still out there. And he has Tyler Johnson. None of them knew their routes. They were terrible. They came into the game and ran the wrong routes. You could see them on the sidelines scolding them. Ronald Jones, the backup running back, took over for Leonard Fournette. And 1 point on a third down, he had 2 yards to go. He stepped out of bounds instead of trying to go to the first because he was going to take a hit, I guess. I mean, if you see the marker in front of you and you step out before you get there, what's that about? I mean, in Pee Wee football, you know you go to the marker. Let's be realistic about it. And he let him have it. Tom Brady let him have it on the sidelines. And then he got set on the bench. He wasn't hurt. They set him on the bench and brung in Vaughn, and he's not a starting running back. We got him from Vanderbilt last year, Keyshawn Vaughn. He tries. He's not a great pass catcher, and he's still a rookie, young, but in a running back situation out of a college. And you've been on the roster 2 years, and now the second string back's benched, the first string running back's out. They call you out to duty on a national television audience in an NFL game. You're going to be the back, and you start making mistakes. It's a terrible, terrible situation the other night offensively. It was a bad game plan. I mean, of course, how can you have a game plan when all your key players, Evans, Godwin, and Fournette, are hurt? It's hard when they are hurt like that. You can't think of a game as a Buck fan that our 2 starting receivers and running back were taken out in the game. It's just very, very difficult. So we suffered a tremendous loss, 9-0 Sunday night. It was probably the worst defeat that I have seen Tom Brady take in a Buccaneer uniform. And all you that are Sports Talk with the Cowboy fans, you certainly saw it yourself. It was a tremendous defeat. Cowboy can remember himself, a young man, a lot younger than he is today, at the last time the Bucs took a 9-0 defeat. It was the NFC Championship game against the Los Angeles Rams. I was in attendance. Doug Williams, as you know, broke his jaw. And Jack Youngblood played for the defense on their team. And they said he broke his leg and continued to play, if all y'all remember, in 1979. And that 9-0 defeat with the Rams and the Bucs in the championship game, it kind of echoed the other night. It wasn't a championship game the other night. As we know, it's a regular season game. But the 9-0. And it was a bad beating offensively. The defense did not do bad, ladies and gentlemen. 9 points, 3 field goals. Your offense has got to be able to generate 9 points. We were averaging better than 30 points a game. We have been. So, you know, if we'd have scored even half of our average at 15, we'd have won that game. We scored nothing. Our line was physically beaten. And it was so bad, as all y'all seen, that Tom Brady ran over to the sidelines of the New Orleans Saints and cussed the coach of the Saints on the field. And then he came to the sidelines and the offensive coordinator handed him his tablet to devise some plays at the next series. He actually took the tablet, threw it into the locker behind it and broke it on national TV. That's to tell all of us, I'm not going to call a play when nobody knows how to run it. Okay, I've been doing that for about a half of football. So this week, ladies and gentlemen, Christmas is on Saturday, and we're going to go to Charlotte and play the Carolina Panthers Sunday. And that Carolina Panther team better be ready, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though they're going to get off without Evans and without Godwin and without Fournette, we're going to have this. We're going to have Antonio Brown back in the lineup, and he's going to go. So if you look for number 81 Sunday, he's going to go. And it's a G-O, go, because him and Brady's going to hook up, and they're going to hook up regular. Our great tight end, Ron Gronkowski, in the defeat against the Saints, was thrown the ball 11 times. He caught it twice. It's unparalleled. Gronk was off too. The rhythm of the loss of one player is significant. If you lose 2 stars, then you can just imagine. What if you lose 3? And that's what happened to the Bucs Sunday night against the New Orleans Saints. We're still leading that division. We have 3 games to go. One against the Panthers Sunday in Charlotte. We go back to New York, play the Jets the following week, and then the last week of the regular season will be at home in Raymond James Stadium against the Carolina Panthers. So we're going to play the same team twice in 3 weeks. So we're going to be all right. We only have to win one more game to get the division crown, which we're going to do. We're going to win this game Sunday. We're going to go up there and play fundamental football. The offensive line's not going to be giving up 4 sacks and a bunch of hurries on Brady. Brady was almost unscathed throughout this year, but Sunday night he wasn't, okay? And they're going to be ready to play. Even though we're going to have Ronald Jones running as running back, we brought in Le'Veon Bell, the ex-Steeler player. We brought him in because Keyshawn Vaughn's no good. That's the bottom line to it, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing against Keyshawn Vaughn. He's just not a running back in the NFL. I don't know that Ronald Jones is. Okay? Ronald Jones had a great one game against the Los Angeles Rams a couple years ago when Jameis Winston was our quarterback. And he had a 98-yard run against the Carolina Panthers. Maybe lightning can strike twice this Sunday, because he's going to get his start. And these last 3 games that he's going to be starting running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are probably going to determine his fate as a Buccaneer. Okay, it's going to probably determine his fate. So he's going to be ready to run come Sunday. And then the offensive line is going to be opening up some holes. Don't expect Gronk to only catch 2 out of 11 passes. Don't expect Antonio Brown not to score a bunch of touchdowns, because they're going to come down there and put some points on Carolina. If they don't, we're going to have a serious issue with our offense, which I don't think is. I think it just was an anomaly because of the injuries. The Cardinals have lost some games, so they are no longer the top seed that would belong to Green Bay. We're at the 3rd seed at the moment. Dallas Cowboys is at the 2nd seed. But the Rams, by winning last night, now move up to the 3rd seed because they have defeated us. So this all is subjective, because in the next 3 weeks there's going to be a lot of changes, but we're still there. We just had an anomaly and a very terrible losses as far as our injuries were concerned. We also lost Levante David, our linebacker. He was injured. He will not be playing on Sunday in Charlotte either. So he is an all-star on our defense, as you know, and he is injured, a captain on the defense, and he is injured. So it is an injury situation that we suffered at the hands of the New Orleans Saints. They figured to come in here and beat us so bad that 4 of our starters are out, okay? And frankly, you can say, well, it's just a hamstring. You couldn't say that was what it was caused because they were physical. You can say what you want. There's 3 of our stars went out, and they're out. 1 is out for the year. Two are out possibly to the playoffs in 3 weeks. Levante David possibly to the playoffs in 3 weeks. Okay? In one game. So Kevin Minter, number 51, will step up and take over for Levante David. And Minter's a good old all-purpose linebacker. He's not Levante David, but he's awful good. Okay? Kevin Minter will be playing Sunday in Charlotte. So the Buccaneers looking pretty good, even though they suffered a tremendous defeat. We're still in the hunt of it. We're at the top of the charts in the top third or fourth seeding. There's going to be 7 seedings. So there's going to be 3 other positions below us. The Green Bay Packers, in my estimation, is still the best team in football other than us. So now we're going to take some questions and answers. We have 2 questions tonight. One from Tracy in Frostproof, Florida, of course. And Tracy asked, what about the Atlanta Falcons? And what are they going to do in the draft next year? Will they keep Matt Ryan? I believe they will keep Matt Ryan, though if they get a good enough trading partner and they will give a good enough return for Matt Ryan, I think the Atlanta Falcons could move Matt Ryan to another team. He's got a few years left. That Falcon team is a long ways from playoffs, even though they're only a few games out. And he's taken a pretty good beating this year. He's got Pitts, the tight end from the Gators, has played real well. And they've had their moments where they've looked pretty good offensively and defensively. They got a new coaching staff with Arthur Smith. I don't see Matt Ryan going easy somewhere else. If you wanted him, you'd have to get a good deal together with the Atlanta Falcons. And as long as Matt Ryan's there, the Atlanta Falcons can go ahead. I think if you give him a few weapons and give him a runner, a good back that could get out there and do good things on the ground, get him an offensive line where he could stand up in the pocket a little bit longer, that Atlanta Falcon team is only 2 or 3 games away from being a playoff contender at any given moment. So, Tracy, your Atlanta Falcons are still a formidable team in our division, a good team. They've got a great owner in Arthur Blank, and they've got a new coach, and this is his first year. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to get all the things in place. And they're just a tad short on a few positions. But they can do that in the draft. They can do that in free agency real easy. And hopefully some of their players will restructure their contracts so that they'll have more money to be able to spend on free agents, and they can go out and get a few that they need. And with those few, they could be a contender. So thank you for your question, Tracy. And now the second question tonight is from Phil, and he was wondering about the Jacksonville Jaguars' future. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a dumpster fire, and they have been for quite a few years. They're a terrible, terrible organization, even though they've got a good owner in Shad Khan. He just doesn't know that much about organization, it seems like, even though he's a multi-billionaire. And he doesn't have the people in place to make that team a winner. They brought in Urban Meyer, they bring in a good general manager, and now they have gotten a first-round pick in Trevor Lawrence. And so, they're a long ways away from a winner. Of course, they fired Urban Meyer already. The coaching staff for Urban Meyer is still in place there in Jacksonville. They've been retained to finish the year out, but I'm sure there's probably going to be a coaching change in Jacksonville. So now you got a second head coach in 2 years. And so it's a tough situation in Jacksonville. They've got to have some stability. They've got to get a coach. I myself would like them to go out and get Jack Del Rio that was there before, and Jack Del Rio that coached the Oakland Raiders, who is the defensive coordinator of the Washington Redskins presently, and bring him back to Jacksonville because he knows Jacksonville. He was a winner in Jacksonville. Why don't you bring him back and say, look, man, you got 2 or 3 years to build this team. We're not going to get on your back after 1 year, okay? You know the town knows you, and so Jack Del Rio would be a good choice. And if they can get that in place and some organization in place, they've got some cap space this year, and they've got a good young quarterback, and they've got a great fan base, including you, Phil. So Jacksonville can get back on track, but it's going to take a little bit longer for them to do that. So thank you for your questions, and I appreciate y'all sending them in the comments. And like, share, and subscribe. God bless you. Cowboy out.